Hello Zainey friends and welcome. Today we have for you a geek tag and a get ready with me with one brand only, and it's e.l.f. which I've done plenty of e.l.f. $25 hauls before, which I will also link down below for you as well. But as far as this tag, we're tagging all of you plus anybody else we put down below. So if you do this geek tag, make sure you put it in the comment section so we can check it out.
And if you like these kinds of get ready with me looks as well as tag videos, subscribe down below.
Because you don't want to miss any of that. And then, if you want to see how I did this look right here, make sure you watch after the break. I wanted to tell you about the products that I have already used, and of course the entire look today that I'm doing is all e.l.f. products, and I really do have to thank Bethany Summer for this. I can link her video down below, but she's the one who has been sending me a lot of e.l.f. products and kind of like reignited my love for e.l.f. Even though I've loved them before, I think that she just kind of like gave me more, so I was like, yes, I must do this again. So what I did was I used on my face the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer in this packaging. I really love this because even though it has like a slight tea tree oil scent, it goes on really smooth, and I feel like it's a really great primer for not a lot of money. I believe this is like $3. And then this is something I got from Bethany. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Under Eye Primer, and I've been using this a lot, and it actually feels like a lot of my dark circles are going away since using this, which is amazing. I think this is only $1 or $2. And then for my foundation, I use this, and I just got this today. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation in the color Porcelain, and this can be either a very light foundation or you can build it up to be a full coverage foundation depending on how much you want. As you can tell, it's a very natural looking look that I have going. And so what I did was I used this e.l.f. stipple brush. This is the large one. Let's talk about the e.l.f. Tone Correcting Concealer. I did use that as well. My shade is Ivory, and I just used that to do different blemish cover-ups. And then this is the last thing I used, which is the e.l.f. High Definition Powder. This goes on very messy. I actually had to clean this up so you could see what it looks like. So it's not like, you can kind of see a little bit there, but I really prefer pressed powder. They just came out with this in a pressed powder, which makes me super excited because I want this product in a non-messy state. So awesome. So what I'm going to do now is we are going to do a question while I'm putting on each makeup step as we go. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do, bear with me, I have a lot of products, is I'm gonna do the face portion of it. What I think I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna use this. This is the e.l.f. Mineral Powder Brush, and I'm going to use this, which is the e.l.f. Blush and Bronzing Powder Duo in Turks and Caicos. This is a really, really pretty color. What I'm gonna probably do though is use like just a touch of this, but not a lot, but mostly this just to contour down here. In between my cheekbones, and then maybe a little bit on the sides of my nose. We'll see how that goes. Okay. So the geek tag is what we're doing today. What is our first question?
Question number 1, warrior, thief, or wizard? In most of the RPGs that I've played where you can build your own character, I've tended to go more for the wizard side, just getting at my enemies from a distance. You guys stay over there. I don't want to actually... No, get out of my face. But sometimes I have played as a rogue. I've not really tended to play too much of the in-your-face kinds of characters.
Right.
You, I have seen play more rangers and rogues. I
am more ranger and rogue. I like being archery with a hunter thrown in. I do like having the animal companion as well. So I think I tend to be more thief rogue in that respect.
Yeah, when I played Guild Wars, my favorite characters to play were the Elementalist or Necromancer, sometimes a combo of the two, and then a Ranger with the animal companion, because you could always go, you, just fight that for me, go away.
All right, so that's the
That is
the contouring in there. I think what I'm going to do, instead of putting my blush on, sometimes what I like to do first is put my highlight on first. So what I'm going to be using is this. This is this small stipple brush from e.l.f. And I'm going to be using this, which is this baked highlighter. And this is in the shade Moonlight Pearls. This stuff is gorgeous. Let me just swatch it for you so you can see. It's probably one of my favorite products, but literally look at that. It's so luminescent. And I'm just gonna take the stipple brush and just put this right on here and then down my nose here and here.
Now, there's actually another good reason to do that before you put the extra powder on top, is because that way you actually have the shading being the underlayers, the different tones and shades and highlights, and then you have another layer over the top of that to kind of give it the feel like this is actually your skin.
Exactly.
So, question number 2, your favorite subject in school. I really enjoyed my art classes a lot. That was the most fun I had. Although when I started getting to college, I had a lot of other classes that I took because I was trying to maintain my majors and my scholarship. So I had to take really weird classes just to make up the difference. My favorite class, still to this day, and probably the one that changed my life the most, was my interactive performance class. It drives you to pull out of your normal way of thinking so that you can act and interact.
My favorite class was probably theater in high school and college. I mean, in high school I was very active in band, but definitely theater in college. Like, you couldn't drag me away. I would have theater from 3 to 5 every day, and then I got a job as a TA and an administrative assistant in the theater, and then, you know, I would just stick around there at night, and I was there almost all day when I wasn't in classes, pretty much. And I wouldn't get home until like 8 or 9 o'clock at night and do my homework from that point. Probably theater. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with the e.l.f. Mineral Powder Blush, and I'm going to use this shade, which is Candid Coral in Blush. Also a really gorgeous kind of like pinky coral color right in there. Next question.
What would your Patronus be? Yes, I've actually been asked this question recently. It would be a unicorn with a broken horn. I was on an online role-playing group. It was all done through text. And yes, it was pony-based. The character that I ended up having, because we had our characters were ourselves transported into this world, but in a randomly generated body. I ended up as a male unicorn. Thankfully, I didn't switch genders. But the horn broke immediately upon showing up there. So that was like a massive part of the character's story and stuff like that.
This is a really hard question for me. I'm not exactly sure what I would be, to be honest. I haven't really thought of it that much, honestly. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, the best way to answer this question is to think back to one of your happiest memories. Since the Patronus charm is all about summoning your most potent and positive memory and use that against what is trying to attack you. Think back to a time when you had what your most powerful memory is.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'd be kind of cat-like, something like that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. This is the e.l.f. Eyelid Primer. This is one of my favorite primers for the eyelid itself. This is definitely a clearer color. It's in sheer, so it's going to go on without any... Can you see that? Without any like real color, even though it goes on as a little yellowish, you can smooth it out and it clears out.
Okay, so
next question.
The next question is, who is your favorite superhero? I like Spider-Man the most because he feels more like a real person. His superheroing really gets in the way of his real life.
Yeah.
Where you have like Batman, he's super rich, he can do whatever he wants. So his superheroing doesn't get in the way of that.
Right.
Like ever. Superman, he's so fast, no one ever catches up with him, you know? Whereas Spider-Man, it was, at least in most of the stories that we remember, he's a college-age or high school kid, he's got a part-time job,
right.
He's got to make ends meet. And being a superhero always got in the way of that.
Yeah, as far as superhero, I don't know if I have a favorite one. I like Captain America a lot. It doesn't have to be a Marvel superhero, so maybe my favorite superhero is Doctor Who. Does that count?
It could count, actually,
Yeah?
because I mean, really, when what you consider a superhero, he's just as much a superhero as Green, as the Martian Manhunter.
Right.
He's got different powers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see him as a superhero.
So Doctor Who's my favorite superhero.
That works.
Okay, so now I'm going to go on to eyebrows. As you can tell, I'm a very pale princess, so I got no eyebrows or eyelashes whatsoever. So this is what I do. It's kind of strange maybe, but I just bought this today. This is like $3. This is the eyebrow lifter and filler, and on one side it has a pencil with a sharpener on it, which is pretty cool, and on this side it's got like a highlighter, which I will probably use later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this on the eyebrows, and then this is actually the e.l.f. Wet Gloss Lash and Brow. You can probably tell I've been using this side on my lashes, but honestly you can use both sides on your lashes. It's just a clear mascara, and it helps keep the color on and to keep your eyebrows tamed, and I really love this. I pretty much use this every day, and it's super cheap. It's like $1.
So like a lot of artists would use like hairspray on charcoal pieces to keep the charcoal stuck.
Exactly. That's what we're going for here. Okay, next question.
Marvel or DC?
Ooh, Marvel.
Okay, so she really loves Marvel. I don't blame her. I'm actually kind of torn between the two. There's things that I like about both sides, and there's things I don't like, and most of it end up being continuity things. But I think there are more characters that I love out of Marvel, and more storylines that I like out of DC.
Yeah.
So, because how the characters, the different things that the characters do go through in DC end up being really interesting, especially in the more recent comics, where I just tend to prefer a little bit more of the realistic feel, weirdly enough, that Marvel projects. It feels more modern.
Okay. I like how that looks. This actually, I've never used this before. This went on really creamy, and it's a really good shade for me. It's in the shade Light, and Lift is the
Light and Lift.
The lighter shade, but Light is the brownish shade. I actually like this.
It's pretty good.
I like this a lot. All right. Next, we're going to get into the eyes. Okay, so this one basically is going to be my base. This is the e.l.f. Smudge Pot. Well, I love these smudge pots so much. I have them in a couple different colors, most of them neutral, and I'm looking for like better like purple colors and things like that, which they just came out with some really good ones that I'm really excited to get later. But this is in Ain't That Sweet. So it's a nice lighter color, which I'm going to use on the base. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this palette, which I just got today, and it was $6 at Target, but I'm sure you can get it online also. And this is just like a really lots of bright colors. So I thought, yeah, we're going to play around with this a little bit, if I can even get it open. So there it is, and I was thinking I was going to use probably like, I don't know, maybe like this color right here. That looks kind of pretty. And maybe this color right here on the base over the smudge pot. So maybe this on the base, this in the crease, and then maybe I will use also, see, I haven't thought about this at all. This is totally on the fly.
Yeah.
So maybe this purple color right here or this purple color right there just as the definer in the outer V. Now when all of that is done, I'm going to use this other palette that I got from Bethany for $10. Well, she got it for $10. I got it for free. And this is the Prism palette. So I want to use some of this. I'm thinking like probably this shade right here in the Prism palette, just to kind of go over the base a little bit to make it a little more metallic, which I think is going to be awesome. So that is my plan right now, and we'll go through a couple questions while I do that.
Now, my question for you is, with that smudge pot, what differentiates that from other types of the foundations that you'd be using on your eye?
Well, oh, you mean like when I used the primer before?
Yeah.
Okay, so the primer basically makes it so that the eyeshadow will stay down a little bit better and last a little longer. This is a color. You can use this as a primer. I know some people use it as a base, but what I do is I use it to make sure that my eyeshadow is more long lasting, as well as using it as an undercolor for other colors to kind of make that depth of layer a little more precise.
So it's you've had the primer and this is the base coat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He likes to explain things from an artist's point of view. That's pretty much what's happening, but you know, it makes sense.
I have to translate.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, what's the next question?
Our next question is, in what unsports related way do you keep in shape? We Fit.
Yeah. I would say we definitely use the We Fit. We use the Xbox 360. We like to swim, like do water aerobics. And my favorite way though, which I can't do right now, and this kind of makes me sad, is I like to use the stationary recumbent bike because it's better for my back and legs. But in our apartment, we don't have room for it.
Yeah.
So hopefully someday we'll be able to, but right now it's just not in the cards. And our apartment complex only has one of those higher up bikes, not one of the recumbent ones, so it's a little harder to work out. But we kind of make do, although lately here in Florida, it's been raining every afternoon, so I come home from work and I'm like, I'm ready to work out.
No.
Nope. Not happening today.
Now, let's talk a bit about our favorite exercises from Wii Fit. I like to do the running a lot. They have a short run, which is like 10 minutes, but then they have one that will go for, not 10 minutes, sorry, yeah, maybe it's whatever. But you have another one that's a very long distance run. And you go all the way around the island, and it's see how long you can run in this time period. I really like that one.
Oh, yeah.
Because that way you can just try and get your heart rate up as fast as you can. I know one thing that we've been competing in a lot is puzzle squash.
Yes. It's like racquetball.
It's like racquetball meets Tetris.
Yes.
Kind of. It's nice. I actually really like that game because it gets your body and your mind started up at the same time.
That's true. I did want to break in here. I want to talk to you about some of the brushes that I've been using for my eyes. Let me see if I can grab them all here. There are so many brushes that e.l.f. has, like different types. They have their basic line, which is the white-handled ones like this. I have a couple, and you can even get these at Dollar Tree, as well as Target and e.l.f. Online. But like they have this. This is an eye crease brush. It's kind of a more pointy one, little tapered off and domed at the top. This flat one right here, this is the eyeshadow brush. So you might use that for your bases, maybe a little bit like just to define in there. And this one is a blending eye brush, so you can use that to blend out. And this one is another blending eye brush. So those are the ones that are from their regular line. Then they have the mineral line, which is this one right here in the black. This is a crease brush. This is the only one I can find. I know I have a couple other ones, but this is basically the only one. You can see that the crease portion of it is a lot bigger and domed than the other crease brushes, but I like that one a lot more for blending out. And then I got this one, which doesn't even look like an e.l.f. brush, but this is from something they had maybe last Christmas. I know, it's called the Crystal line, which I don't know if you can tell, but there's kind of like this texture down here. I love using this for my crease. It just fits in so perfectly and blends out across. So that's what I use that one for. But again, you're going to be able to find brushes that suit your needs completely on e.l.f. So
yeah. And for those of you who are just kind of joining up with our channel and aren't into makeup yet, there's a lot of importance about the shape and texture of these brushes. That's why she has so many of them. If you get one that's just rounded, it might not be able to do the same kinds of things as a flat brush would, where you can get into different kinds of shapes as you put things on.
Right.
Softer brushes are going to be a lot better for blending, as it's going to start picking up and moving things, where stiffer brushes are just going to try and put down.
Especially for me, because I have hooded eyes, so it's very hard for me to do eye looks with certain kind of brushes, so I need smaller brushes to kind of get in there and creased up. So that's why I have different ones depending on, what shape I want the eyeshadow to be in and how much coverage I want it to give me.
Yeah.